Right, so in our very first story, the police have spoken out about the reappearance of the lady who went missing in Accra in the last few weeks, and the information they have right now is that as far as they are concerned, the woman was never found pregnant. So the statement, as you have on your screen, reappearance of missing pregnant woman at Accra in the Western region. The police in Accra in the Western region can confirm the reappearance of Josephine Penny-Mensah on 21st September 2021 at about 9:30 hours. When she reappeared, she was immediately sent to the Accra Government Hospital for medical attention. We also informed the family in line with our procedures. Since her disappearance, over 40 police officers were specifically assigned to track the whereabouts of the victim, and the family were giving regular updates on police operations regarding this issue. These police operations with associated investigations were carried out on a 24-hour basis, and we want to commend the officers who have been working on the case for the commitment, including the sleepless nights they endured. Following her reappearance, and on the basis of our preliminary investigation so far, the police wishes to state the following, and this is where the police are putting out the facts as they have them as of now. The police is heavily relying on medical experts who have examined her. Their findings are that Josephine Penny-Mensah was never pregnant within the period under review, following thorough medical examination by the medical doctors at the Accra Government Hospital. The victim, which now the police say is a suspect, during interrogation mentioned the European Hospital in Accra as a hospital for antenatal reviews and assessment. Medical records at the facility suggest that the lady visited the hospital without pregnancy somewhere in October last year. Investigations also suggest the suspect may have conspired with other persons over a possible planned disappearance. 3 people have so far been arrested for further questioning on possible conspiracy charges. Police would like to inform members of the public that adequate measures are in place to ensure she is safe as we continue our investigations. And then more worrying is the fact that for a number of years, the regional command has recorded several false kidnapping cases where people conspire to create self-kidnapping incidents to make money out of ransoms. A team with support from the national headquarters has been put together to quell this emerging crime in the Western region. We wish to give the assurance that we will continue to revise our security strategies to protect the people of the Western region and the rest of the country. So joining us right now is our Western region correspondent, Natalia Kwansa, with the very latest. So Ina, we've seen this statement put out by the police, and one of the things that stands out is the fact that the police is treating the woman who went missing as a suspect, and 3 persons have been arrested in connection with this incident. What is the very latest on the ground in Accra?
They are cladded in red. They also involved cases on the Western Regional Minister and everyone who is involved who have, said that the pregnancy is fake. They still hold this strong belief that Josephine Simons was pregnant. They said they have seen her from her 1st month to her 9th month. So they think there is a conspiracy. I have her auntie with me. If Israel, she was speaking to you, then I would explain to you later.
All right, please do.
Prophecy and the police administration was there, but the old panel on using. No, on Yampado using. About some like now, why don't want to Waboko join?
Oh, Mr. Stamford, so you son. Maybe I don't understand. Let time after home. And upon yes, I Accra. And all none to any man, Tonya go quick. And I hear when you, Master Yanda, yeah, vampire, and upon the elbow pie, still me elbow pie, and find the elephant for Queen and car. It's not someone will catch and young trust. Yana Bay, now who swings another. Monday, to Queen. Oh, I just been a man and what just been looking. What just been a man so. Let me tell you, they're just been only saying, Anna, even your queen. Oh, yes, son, you're going to charge. You're going to charge because the other. I tell you, uncle, the other one. And some are for Yala won't start them no two nothing. And that's why I say, I am a fellow one for you to push one from by him.
Well, Israel, so you had an auntie of Josephine there saying categorically that indeed she is pregnant. She had seen her belly. You heard me asking her whether she indeed saw her belly. She said yes. And they are optimistic that Josephine is pregnant. They said they've invoked cases. Anyone involved should have this or her own turn of the cases. But if they are also lying, then they should also be used as a Thanksgiving sacrifice for this case. So, Israel, this is what is happening. A lot of people have gathered here since morning when the police brought the release out.
Now, one of the things I think I heard the auntie say was the fact that the mother of Josephine has been arrested as well as the husband. Is that correct?
Yes, that's what she's saying, that the mother of Josephine and the husband have all been arrested.
I want you to find out from her at what time they were arrested, where they're being held. And one other question.
And now,
now what the one? Okay. Just in the mommy. No, you boy, no, a banana was one. What to one, a sister, one time or the two one. And in the baby, my banner was Robert, she's pulling on me. Not so no.
Okay. So Israel, she's saying that she doesn't know the specific time. She is a family member, but she doesn't live here. So when she came, she was informed that they've been arrested away.
And I'm curious too. I'd also want to find out from them. The police, they're saying that they found Josephine. Josephine doesn't have any pregnancy. She's not carrying any pregnancy. And they've examined her, and it doesn't look like she's been pregnant. What exactly would they want the police to do about the case? Do they want them to give Josephine back to them?
Okay. Let me find out from her. Mommy, Papa, mommy, this was some good ideas for more. Better me with the police. Just no news. Sister, what other now what just another but what you what just Brian and what you know. I know what time. They should bring the mother, the husband, and then they should bring Josephine to the family. A lot of people are here agitating on the same issue. They just don't understand why this should come up. But then they are the family. They still hold on like Josephine is indeed pregnant.
All right, thank you very much, Ina Thalia Kwansan. So the very latest update we're getting from the ground is that some relatives and family members of Josephine, the lady who went missing but has since been found, are protesting, and they're raining curses on the police and the authorities for claiming that Josephine was never pregnant. And they are outraged by that, and they're demanding that Josephine is returned to them in good health. But the latest is that the police is now treating Josephine as a suspect, and they've also indicated that 3 people have been arrested in connection with this incident. We're only now learning from the auntie who Inathalia Kwanzaa has been speaking with that the husband of Josephine has been arrested and the mother as well has been arrested. At this point, we can't say whether they are included in the 3 that the police is saying that they have been arrested. But we'll continue to follow the story and we'll bring you updates as and when. Also in the bulletin, the Greater Accra region has surpassed the Ashanti region as the most populous region in the country after the Ghana Statistical Service revealed the provisional numbers for the 2021 population and housing census. It put the country's population at 30.8 million, with females still outnumbering males. Kweku Asante has more in the following report.
The population and housing census was originally scheduled for 2020 until COVID-19 struck, forcing a change of plans. The last census was in 2010 with an estimated population of 24.6 million. For 2021, Ghana's population is now 30.8 million, with 51.2% majority being females. The Greater Accra region has also surpassed the Ashanti region as the most populous region.
Greater Accra region has caught up with Ashanti region. Indeed, from the provisional figures, we are seeing Greater Accra region edging up as the most populous region marginally. Between 2010 and 2021 population and housing census, with our 24.7 million that we recorded in 2010 and the current population figure that we have now, the population change over the period is 24.9. Provisional results from the 2021 population and housing census indicates that Ghana's population has increased from 24.7 in 2010 to 30.8 from the 2021 population and housing census.
Field officers started gathering data for the population and housing census between 27 June and 8 August 2021. There were two different extensions to capture more details. The census revealed a 3.6 average household size in Ghana.
Following the 2021 population and housing census, we identified a total of 8.4 million households in Ghana. We recorded an average household size from the 2021 population and housing census standing at 3.6.
There are 10.7 million structures counted in the census, with the majority of kiosks and other such structures found in the Greater Accra.
Specifically, we saw Greater Accra having the highest number of structures, 2.1 million structures. 20% of structures in Ghana are either metal, wooden structure, or kiosks. From the data, we realized that 15% of the structures that we have in Greater Accra are metal containers. Moving forward, we also observed that more than half of the kiosks in the entire country are in Greater Accra.
Speaking at the event for the release of the provisional census figures, Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah commended the Ghana Statistical Service for carrying out the census despite COVID-19.
COVID-19, as you mentioned, put the brakes on many national exercises, many census exercises in other parts of the world. But you, despite this, were able to brave the odds and to carry this through. And once again, we congratulate you.
Chair of the Governing Board of the Statistical Service, Dr. Grace Bediako, believes the new figures will play a critical role in government's digitization agenda.
The census is one of many initiatives that will further the digitization agenda of the country.
According to the Ghana Statistical Service, out of the 10.7 million structures listed, 20% were metal containers, kiosks, and wooden structures. Maxwell Agbagba was in a community called Kofi Krom, where residents have been compelled by the high cost of rent to live in kiosks.
Welcome to Kofi Krom, located in the heart of the capital, Accra. Well, people who live here have been compelled to live in these wooden structures. Many of them tell me that they are unable to afford the high cost of rent in Accra. They say that they have to pay 70 Ghana cedis monthly to live in these shacks. I've been speaking to Alhassan Abubakar. He is a driver and says his wife and children live with his grandmother, but he has been forced to live in this kiosk because he cannot pay.
If you want to go and rent room, it's too much of money. If you want to go and take it somewhere, they say you have to pay 2 years, 3 years advance. before they will give you the room. They will handle the room to you. So we don't have that money. That's why we come hard ourselves for here. The way we knock some small kiosks, where we day inside, where we sleep. Where we take some give some people. Where that people to know, they know if they go rent that room to know, they not figure money where they will go rent that room. So our room to know, where we not come on to know. A week, a month, we they take a month 70 Ghana. We take 3 months. 3 months because of houseless. Everybody no get some. So 3 months, if you calculate them, then you pay, so that we handle the room for you. So if you do inside 3 months, if the time reach, if you want to renew to her, so that you renew back to again. Because of the why we rent out at 70 Ghana, the plywood is cost. Oh, like if I get money, like somebody will go hold me, like me to get my work what they do, and we will stay here.
I've also been speaking to Moro Abdullah. He's an Okada rider. He has also been compelled by his financial situation to live in this kiosk here.
I'm from Kumasi, where I come Accra. But I did Accra the time where I did Alajo. I did my uncle in there. I was like 7 years back. Still, I don't have money to rent room. So that's for me to rent. I see myself, so now I grow. So I suppose to leave my uncle alone and come hustling place, come hustle myself.
Well, joining us on Zoom for a conversation on this is Ebenezer Ama, who's a development consultant. Good morning to you, and many thanks for your time. So the census data that's provided by the Ghana Statistical Service, for someone like you, it must be of great interest because it throws up so much information. Which of them would you say is your highlight?
Well, this is, in my view, very wonderful for development. We've always made the argument, should development be driven by data, or should data be driven by development? We think that data should drive development. So, for example, the data on the urban kiosks and metro structures is extremely very important in my view. And that has consequences for water and sanitation. By 2012, Ghana as a whole had about 14.2% of the WC systems in the whole nation. The rest of toilets and things were actually driven by what we call free range in the latrine. And this had consequences for health and other things. So if you look at these structures, you wonder whether they even have structures for toilets and so on and so forth, and water as well. We are yet to see the actual report, the full report. But in my view, this would have consequences for our health, consequences for our education, and consequences for our personal income. And I think the national, the Ghana Statistical Service has done a good job to have done this job.
Now, how do you expect government to work with data like this? Let's stick with the number of containers and these structures that are all over the place. Let's stick with that as starters. How do you expect government to work with this information, or what should they do with this information?
So first and foremost, it means that when it comes to structures, government must work with the private sector to ensure that we have formal structures where, these structures will be, even if they are metals, it does not really matter too much, but to be zoned properly. They should not be informal, they must be formal, that they can be captured adequately, consistently in national statistics, because there will be consequences in terms of socio-economic, challenges, and consequences in terms of how we can resolve them. And it is my view that we need to focus on these structures and make sure that they are actually reduced or removed, or actually properly zoned so that we can have people occupying them and we can use them as appropriate as possible.
Now, closely linked to the issue of container structures is the issue of population density. And it appears Accra is increasingly adding on a lot more people than any other region. I was speaking with the government statistician. It was indicating that Accra has added on 442 people as compared with the Ashanti region that has added on maybe just about 25 people. This is critical for planning as well. Again, with this kind of information, how do you expect government, or as a development consultant, what would you advise?
It means that there's a lot of migration from other regions to Accra. That's number one. Number two, Accra is becoming very, very urbanized. It also means that we must focus on making sure we have adequate facilities in Accra. However, we must also make sure that the regions also have adequate facilities in terms of health, in terms of education, in terms of employment, so on and so forth. So we can stem this kind of migration from the regions to Accra. Obviously, we can ask people not to travel. Ghana belongs to all of us, and we can live anywhere else in Ghana, in addition to Accra. But I think that we need to ensure that development is equally spread around and across the entire regions in Ghana, so that people might not migrate to Accra. But what you can see is that Accra has become extremely urbanized, and if they don't have space enough, they cramp together. The other thing I'll say about it is that if our population density is so high and we don't have adequate facilities, there will be challenges again in terms of health, in terms of education, so on and so forth. So in a nutshell, I think government have to work with the private sector to ensure that development is adequately spread across the entire length of this nation.
All right, thank you very much, development consultant Ebenezer Ama, for your insight. We're moving on, and between May and September this year alone, the taxpayer has had to pay upwards of 10 million cedis for President Akufo-Addo's trips abroad, including his recent trip to the UN General Assembly. That's according to North Tongue MP Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, who has filed another urgent question in Parliament demanding full disclosure on cost of the President's latest foreign travels, who puts the cost of the President Akufo-Addo's recent trip to the United States aboard a luxurious jet at 3.7 million cedis. There's more in the following news report.
It is really shocking, I must say, that the Ghanaian people can be treated with such presidential contempt when the dust is yet to settle on the Airbus AC J320 New Sky Bat scandal, now infamous for the ministerial acrobatics in Parliament. Words of North Tongue MP Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa in the latest article on the president's recent trips. There is renewed public outreach as it emerges once again that Ghanaians will cough up another 3.7 million cedis to fund a private charter of a luxurious aircraft for the president and his team to travel to the United States to participate in the UN General Assembly. Already, Mr. Okudzeto-Ablakwa has announced his intention to file another urgent question to demand full disclosure on how much the president's charter trip is depleting state resources.
Why is our president not using it to save money? 10 million Ghana cedis, hoping 10 million Ghana cedis for just 3 trips, in the space of less than 3 months. I can assure you that we will pursue these 2 other recent trips.
The presidency has, however, declined comment, saying the matter is an issue of national security. They also confirmed, however, that Liberia President George Weah used the country's presidential jet for the ECOWAS meeting here in Accra, granted based on a request made to the office of Ghana's president. An online video we have cited show the Falcon landing on the tarmac with the inscription Republic of Ghana, with Liberia President George Weah in white apparel stepping out of the presidential jet. When the ministers of Finance and Defense, Ken Oforiatta and Dominic Netiwo, appeared before Parliament on the cost and whether the presidential jet was fit for purpose when the matter came up earlier this year, this was their response.
Mr. Speaker, the President's domestic and international travels are matters to do with national security. The National Security Minister is really best placed, Mr. Speaker, to furnish this honorable House with the details needed.
When the president is traveling with more than 20 people, he will need more than just a Falcon. The president, in fact, has to go a day ahead because no president can shower in this aircraft. You cannot freshen up in this aircraft. So you cannot move from this aircraft straight into a meeting.
The question now remains whether it has become absolutely necessary to demand a national policy on presidential travels similar to what pertains in other jurisdictions. Will the National Security Ministry provide details on the presidential travels so far? It remains to be seen how it will all unfold when Parliament resumes sitting.
Right, so there's been a number of reactions to this report. First of all, we have the Deputy Majority Leader in Parliament, Alexander Afenyo-Marking. He is saying that his colleague Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa's questioning of President Akufo-Addo's travels is born out of political mischief. And he said this, according to him, is because the North Tongue MP during the tenure of the former President John Mahama in President Mills did not raise any objection to the use of chartered flights by the former heads of state or the travel costs of their ministers. Speaking on Top Story Wednesday, Mr. Afenyo-Marking said that he, Ablakwa himself, some weeks back, when talking about luxury travel, said that ministers of state were flying business. As he put together the cost of all the ministerial travels, why didn't they insist on flying economy but flew business? He didn't have any issue with that. For the 8 years that they were in office, whatever he is doing is born of political mischief. Why is Mr. Ablakwa not talking about President Mohammed's official travels by use of chartered aircraft? He has not talked about it, not once. So he goes on. The Futu MP said that Mr. Ablakwa, with his luxury flight allegations, is creating the impression that this is the first time a president of Ghana has chartered flights for international travels. So one of the issues that's also outstanding is that the MP has filed another question, and so that is also going to come up. Now, another person who has reacted to this is a member of the Council of State, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa. He says the constant attacks on President Akufo-Addo over the cost of his travels is not productive for the country. And speaking with JoyNews' Kwesi Parker-Wilson, he argued that the citizenry spent some more time criticizing the travels rather than looking at the benefits derived from them and their impact on the country. He says when he was going to Germany, there was hue and cry. Why is he traveling? He takes these expensive planes. It costs so much per day. People do not understand what diplomacy is all about. Diplomacy is an expensive process, but there are always benefits. So these are some of the reactions that have come following the latest criticism of the president's travels using jets by MP for North Tongue, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa. Now, the Director of Logistics at the Ghana National Fire Service, DCFO Heroin Boakye, has appealed for the construction of fire stations in all districts in the region, in the Ashanti region. The region currently has 23 fire stations and 5 fire posts, which he describes as woefully inadequate and affects response time to fire emergencies. DCFO Boakye made the appeal at the inauguration of a 7-unit accommodation for the Jura Fire Station in the Ashanti region. A report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
The accommodation apartment was built by the Jura Traditional Council.
Na miko fire service for akache ko hu so ma sitrem no enkoye mame ti meneme mame na na create wo yo ba pan ohima wokrom ase ne mpanyifo no kasa ase no ekwan bia so ese hwe na ye boa na pe dan bi esi ho maye.
Permit me to offer the sincerest of gratitude on behalf of the Chief Officer and the Regional Commander to Burma Osei Pidie the second. For this accommodation facility.
A Jura fire station was commissioned on September 15, 1992 to provide safety cover in the Ejura-Sechere Dumasi municipality and its environs. The station has been extremely effective.
The has so far recorded a total the same period last year. This represents an approximately drop of 16%. This drop can be attributed to the careful planned strategic fire safety intensification program championed by the command. Ejiro Sechirodumasi, on the other hand, has recorded just 9 fire outbreaks so far this year, with no bushfires. The zero bushfire is a welcome fact, especially when considering the municipality's importance, one of the government's flagship programs. That's planting for food and jobs.
Director of Logistics at the Ghana National Fire Service, DCFO Henry Boachi, commended the Traditional Council for the numerous support and collaborative gesture. She, however, appealed for the speedy establishment of fire stations in districts without such facility.
On the issue of fire stations, the command currently boasts of 23 fire stations and 5 fire posts. That is in the Ashanti region. We wish to state that 19 political districts are without fire stations. We wish to use this platform to appeal to all stakeholders, especially the respective municipal and district assemblies, to aid in the construction of fire stations in such districts.
Meanwhile, the Ejura Berima Osehidie expressed concern about increasing highway robbery.
I'm a court to a jail 15 years. And to my papa,
He has therefore allocated land for the establishment of a military camp, municipal police headquarters, and fire service training command to address security challenges. A report by Mohammed Nuruddin.
Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Usuefria Koto, has dismissed reports indicating that the country is currently experiencing food shortage. Interacting with Evans Mensah on JoyNews' PM Express, the minister argued that what the country is currently experiencing can best be described as low stock and not food shortage.
It is not unusual. You always find around this time when farmers begin planting, that's when stocks of grains are their lowest and prices go up. And you can look at the statistics. We are the ones who compile these statistics over all these years. You can come and look at our books. It's very clear that it's a cyclical. Every year at around this time is the highest.
So it's factor to say, as we speak, there is some shortage?
Not shortage. I wouldn't call shortage. Shortage of what? You have to define what is short. The stocks are low. Prices are very high because stocks are low.
Stocks are low is shortage, is it not?
No, it's not shortage. I wouldn't call it shortage.
What is shortage?
When shortage is when human beings, in spite of what money you carry, you can't get food to buy. That's shortage.
There's a short supply of what we normally
no, but
have
no, that's what I'm saying. That's seasonal. If you say shortage, all these countries are now coming to Ghana to pick their grains. Why? Because there is shortage in their countries. That's why they have to go elsewhere. In Ghana, we are exporting, so there cannot be shortage. You cannot deny yourself food and sell your food when you will go hungry. So that's evidence enough, and we have the statistics to show. There's exports of 19 different crops that we exported, 130,000 metric tons in 2019, where we have the full year. We are compiling for 2020. Of course, 2021, the jury is still out. But it cannot be shortage.
Classroom project today, nearly 400 school pupils of the Samang United Basic School in the Komenda Edina Eguafo Abre municipality have been forced to study under trees and in open spaces. The building they have been studying in developed serious cracks and was declared unsafe for academic activities about 6 months ago. Since then, academic activities have had to be suspended whenever it threatens to rain. Richard Kojunyakun, who traveled to the community, also reports of inadequate tables and chairs, forcing 4 school pupils to sit on desks meant for 2 people. Here's more in the following report.
It's early Tuesday morning, and ordinarily, school pupils are expected to get into their classrooms to study. But for the nearly 400 school pupils here at the Samani United, the situation is different. They have nowhere to march to. Where they might remains the same place they have to settle for classes. The students and teachers are in class, in the open space and under trees, competing with sounds of academic activities from adjoining classes held in the same open space.
It's in our class, you see,
we were in the classroom one day and suddenly we heard a sound from the building. We started running away and then we saw cracks all over. John Yawson is a class 5 pupil. His colleague, Stefan Ama Tewia, feels disillusioned. Our building was collapsing, and that's why we have come here. When it's raining, we have to pack all the chairs inside. It is not only the vagaries of the weather they are exposed to that are their concern, but inadequate tables and chairs. Dual decks that are supposed to be used by 2 peoples are being shared by 3 and in most cases 4 peoples. The students have to write in turns, and this is affecting their handwriting and the pace with which they write. We have just a few desks, and it makes it uncomfortable for us to sit and write. Many make mistakes as a result. The teachers are unable to speak with me on this situation, except to say that countless number of letters have been written to the Municipal Education Office and the KEA Municipal Assembly, but nothing has been done. Chairman of the School Management Committee, John Kingsford Arthur, says the decision of the school to get the children out is to avert a possible disaster.
We realize that the building is collapsing. It has developed a lot of cracks. And you can see that even the roof, even the wood used to roof the thing, they are all coming down. So realizing this situation, we decided that no, we can't keep these children in this dilapidated structure, but we don't know what will going to happen next. So we decided to bring them out to sit under these trees. There are ants on the trees, and these ants will be falling on them. They are suffering from dust and all that, which is not good for teaching and learning.
PTA chairman for Isamani United Basic School, Albert Century, tells JoyNews the effort that has been made to get the problem fixed, including getting the assemblies to come to their aid.
We have not only reported to the district assembly, we have even written to the education, the director himself. They send people to come and look at it. Even the assembly, they send engineers to come and say we hear from them, but up to now we have not heard anything from them. Just this morning, it was raining and the whole children had to, run away to other classrooms to join other colleagues. So it's a very worrying situation. So we are praying for people to come and assist us in order to get these children to live. In fact, these are the future leaders.
The KEA Municipal Education Directorate, when contacted, indicated they were aware of the situation and have notified the KEA Municipal Assembly about the predicament of the school. Until the Assembly intervenes, the students and teachers would continue to be at the mercy of the weather. Reporting for JoyNews, Richard Kojunyakun, Isamani United Basic School.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources fears Ghana might
lose its enviable first position as a leading gold producer in Africa because of a 3% withholding tax. Deputy Sector Minister George Mrekuduka says this could be blamed for the high incidence of gold smuggling by some producers to neighboring countries. There is an ongoing engagement with the Finance Ministry to review the tax. Mr. Duka spoke at the workshop on the digitalization of licensing of small-scale mining held in Kumasi. Mr. Pia has more.
The 3% withholding tax is one of the highest in the sub-region, which according to industry players is compelling most producers to smuggle their gold to nearby countries. Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources in charge of mining, George Mrekuduka, observes this threatens Ghana's gold production status and its revenue. He expects the Ministry of Finance to reconsider the withholding tax to secure Ghana's gold production status.
Ghana is a leading producer of gold in Africa since 2018 and 6th in the world, with an average production of 4.2 million ounces over the lead period. And let me reiterate the point here that if care is not taken on the withholding tax component that we've instituted, we'll move from the leading position probably to the third. Because you realize that if you do the comparison from the export points, you're realizing that we are dwindling.
As the leading gold producer in Africa, Ghana produces 4.2 million ounces annually, placing the country at the 6th position in the world. Mr. Duka revealed the government of Ghana is partnering the Indian government to construct a gold refinery to add value to gold mined in the country.
We have partnered an Indian government to put up a refinery in Ghana. And that refinery is about 85% complete. By November, we should start operating. If we start refining gold in the country, then obviously to put more, value on the gold that we sell.
The Deputy Minister was speaking at a workshop on digitization of licensing of small-scale mining in Kumasi. It brought together both regional and district officers of the Minerals Commission. CEO of the Commission, Martin Kwekweisi, says the digitization is meant to address delays in acquiring mining licenses.
Now that you don't have to go to the bank and go and do a bank draft, it means that it should be possible for a small-scale miner to even submit an application over the weekend, because he can just pay by Momo and the system will pick it. So with this maximum, maybe a week or less, we should be able to process an application for it to go to the ministry.
The initiative forms part of mandate of the Minerals Commission to complement the work of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Prince Apia reporting.
Now, a network of experts and professional mentors, dubbed Ghana Mentorship Network, has been set up to support startups in the country. The network is anchored on guiding and shaping startup founders and teams to achieve their business goals whilst building relationships. The network is an initiative of Ghana Tech Lab in partnership with MasterCard Foundation's Young Africa Works. Here's more. Startup ecosystem has been thriving recently. However, among the common challenges startups face is a lack of professional guidance from a mentor. This has called for the need for mentors to form an alliance and provide personalized coaching and guidance to startups, which is critical for the survival of the Ghanaian startup ecosystem. Baba Simpson is lead for the National Mentorship Network.
This mentorship network is the most exciting part about it is that it's decentralized. So wherever you are, whether in Accra, Sunyani, whether you are in Ho, Tamale, wherever you are, there's also a mentorship network there. And we have partnered with our GTL partner hubs, which are all over the regions. And it's very exciting to know that you can reach them wherever you find yourself across the regions in Ghana.
Speaking at the launch, Eko Mensah, founder and chief executive of Tano, called on all existing and prospective startups to leverage the different supports the network provides to their advantage. All right, and speak of startups, we have a conversation about starting a business tonight on Joy Business Social. It's going to be happening at 6 o'clock on our social media platforms. The guest will be Eko Mensah. You just saw him, founder and CEO of Tano. Ernest Alma, country manager of Impact Ghana, and Reginald Alutepapo, who is CEO of Regis Juice Bar. That's at 6 p.m. on Joy Business Social across our social media platforms. And that's it for business. Sports is coming up next.